down on the bench with my gray coat so as not to catch cold. And I say to myself, let's try. Let's try playing dead. And I lay down on the bench and I say to myself, that's it. I'm dead. Dead. Like I'd seen in books, on television, in the newspapers, war everywhere, in the films, in the cinema. Dead. Like in the hearses which passed by our house on Thursdays, and every day during the holidays, sometimes 2 times a day, except on Sundays. On Sundays, the hearses never passed by our house. They passed by all the other days, though, with the horses all in black, and the coaches all in black, and the people all bent over, following behind, all in black, too. With the people following behind with their walking sticks, and their hats all in black, and their coats all in black, and their gloves all in black, too. But never saying anything. Walking, eyes down. You would have said they were crying. I do believe they were crying. They were crying, but not all of them. Anyway, I saw it. I saw it one day when they told me to go up and do my homework. They always told me to go up and do my homework when the hearses passed by our house, but I never did my homework. I always looked out through the curtains. And one day, I was looking out through the curtains, and I saw it all. I saw that not all of them were crying. Only some in the front row, 2 or 3. And behind them, even fewer. And behind them, a lot fewer still. And behind them, none at all. Not all of them were crying. Let's try. I was trying like I'd seen in the butchers. The cows, the cattle, the sheep, all spread out in the butcher's yard. Oh! Even the little calves. I was watching behind the lock, standing on a brick. And Marcel was watching behind the lock, standing on a brick too. Me and Marcel were watching behind the lock, standing on a brick. And we saw the butcher in the butcher's yard go up to the cows, the cattle, the sheep, singing with his cleaver and his knives. He goes up to them, stroking them just a little between the horns. Good boy. Nice little beastie. Nice little beastie. All of a sudden, he could never help it. He always got angry. He stopped singing, he raised his cleaver and his knives, and he gave him one good shot in the head with his butcher's pistol in the yard. One good shot, and bang! All the cows, the cattle, the the sheep tumbled to the ground, flat on their back. Even the little calves. And I was really sad. I said to myself, what did I say to myself? I don't even know what I said to myself anymore, if I did say to myself, but I was sad all this time. And Marcel was sad too. Me and Marcel were sad, the pair of us. But we fought in the street to stand on the brick, to see into the yard, to know how it would all end in the yard. We fought out in the street, but the butcher heard us in the yard. He got angry in his yard, and he came right out after us, chasing out after us with his cleaver, his knives, and his butcher's pistol. He came running out after us, chasing out after us, but I could run faster than him, and Marcel could run faster than him too. He would never catch up with us, and even if he had, he wouldn't have hit us with his cleaver or his knives in the street. It was only for fun. It was only for fun. The butcher had told my father told Marcel's father told my mother had told me, and then I had told Marcel. It was only for fun. Everyone knew that it was only for fun. Except the butcher. I didn't tell the butcher that we knew it was only for fun. But even if the butcher had known, and even if he had hit us all the same with his cleaver or his knives, in the belly, suppose, or in the head, or in the eye, my father wouldn't have been happy. He would have said to me, "Serves you right, that'll teach ya." But he wouldn't have been happy. And Marcel's father wouldn't have been happy either. He would have said to him, "Serves you right, that'll teach ya." Two. But he wouldn't have been happy. My father and Marcel's father weren't happy. The pair of them went into the butcher's. And the butcher was waiting for him in the butcher's.
What can I get you, gentlemen?
With his knives. And he would have said to him, "We're not happy. Why did you kill our boys in the street with your knives? It's not right at all." And perhaps they would have said to him, "If you carry on like this, we'll not get our meat from you anymore. That'll teach you. That'll teach you." Like once me and Marcel heard "that'll teach you," it was the village policeman's wife talking to the butcher. She wasn't happy. "I'm not happy. Why did you kill my doggy? I'll not get my meat from you anymore. That'll teach you, you moron." But the butcher wasn't happy.
I didn't kill your dog, you fat sow.
He said he had dogs and cats and even guinea pigs at home, but he had never killed any of them. Well, his wife wouldn't let him. He said he even had flies at home, but he had never killed any of them either. Except for when they landed on the meat. He just swatted them once or twice. He couldn't help it. But the village policeman's wife wasn't happy. She shouted, "Oh!" and she laughed. And she came back again, and she shouted again. "Oh!" She came back again. But for several days, she never got lot of meat from the butcher anymore, for fear of him playing a dirty trick on her and giving her her doggy to eat instead of a steak. Everyone would have made fun of her. Everyone would have had a good laugh. Me and Marcel, we laughed. We said, it's like old Mother Hubbard with her doggy and the boogeyman with his fresh eggs. Old Mother Hubbard went to her cupboard to fetch her poor doggy. It was the boogeyman who had stolen it and taken it and put it in his satchel to take it home and cook it in his pot with his fresh eggs. But old Mother Hubbard hadn't seen him. And she's shouting. There she is, tearing down the stairs, shouting at the boogeyman. She's running, a really ugly old lady. Half bald with rotten teeth, varicose veins, and unbuttoned. She's running, and she's shouting. Mr. Boogeyman, give me back my doggy, or I'll tell old Father Hubbard on you. Old Father Hubbard is the husband of old Mother Hubbard. He is the village policeman in the town hall with his helmet, his notebook, and his pencil. But it's too late. The boogeyman's already put her doggy in the pot with his fresh eggs. And he lights the gas ring. Mother Hubbard shouts, Mr. Boogeyman, give me back my doggy or I'll tell old Father Hubbard to put you in prison. That's to make them afraid.
But the boogeyman isn't afraid. Not so fast, my dear. Give me a kiss, or I'll make a stew of your mutt.
Old Mother Hubbard kisses the boogeyman on the cheek with her rotten teeth. But the boogeyman isn't happy. He really wants old Mother Hubbard to kiss him on the lips. Tells him, but she can't because she's married. She tells him, I can't, dear Mr. Boogeyman. I'm married. The boogeyman isn't happy, but he gives her back the doggy all the same. Who cares? I'm a decent chap. And he takes the doggy out of the pot by the tail. But it's too late. Whew, the doggy's already half cooked. Oh, and the boogeyman bursts out laughing. He can't stop laughing. He slaps his thighs. That's a good one. That's a good one. But old Mother Hubbard isn't laughing. She's shouting. She can't stop shouting at the boogeyman. Just like the village policeman's wife who couldn't stop shouting either in the butcher's. Who couldn't stop shouting in the butcher's? Oh, the village policeman's wife couldn't stop shouting in the butcher's. But she didn't kiss the butcher, because he would have never allowed it, because of his wife who would have lost her temper behind the counter, and because of the village policeman who would have lost his temper in the street. He would have gone into the butcher's in the name of the law. Stop fooling around. Or he would have summoned the butcher. Or he would have jumped over the counter and kissed the butcher's wife on the lips. But the village policeman's wife had seen him kiss the butcher's wife, and she lost her temper. She was shouting even louder than she did her doggy. And the butcher lost his temper too. He was shouting even louder than he did the village policeman's wife's doggy. They were shouting and lost their temper. All four of them in the butcher's. The village policeman the butcher at the butcher's wife, and the village policeman for the village policeman kissing the butcher's wife, and at the village policeman's wife for her doggy. The butcher's wife at the butcher and the village policeman's wife for the village policeman's wife kissing the butcher, and at the village policeman for him kissing her behind her counter. The village policeman at the butcher for his doggy, and at the butcher for kissing his wife, and at his wife for kissing the butcher, and at the butcher's wife for, well, it's anyone's guess. Finally, the village policeman's wife at the village policeman and the butcher's wife for the village policeman kissing the butcher's wife and at the butcher for her doggy. They lost their temper. All four of them in the butcher's. And the butcher was sharpening his knives. And the village policeman was sharpening his pencil. And they were shouting and rolling around on the floor. Me and Marcel could hear the shouting, but we couldn't see anything anymore. We watched. We wondered who was going to win. Finally, it was the butcher who stood up in the butcher's. He put his hat back on his butcher's head. He raised his arms. He cheered. He had won. He had killed his wife, the village policeman's wife, and the village policeman. He stood up and cheered. He had won. And all of a sudden, he got even angrier. And he also killed the dogs, the cats, the guinea pigs, and the flies in the butcher's. And to finish with, he got even angrier. And he also killed the meat on the counter with his cleaver in the butcher's. It was the butcher who had won. Flat on her back behind the lock, but it wasn't the lock to the door of the butcher's anymore. It was the lock to the bedroom of Marcel's sister. It wasn't the cows, the cattle, the sheep anymore. It was Marcel's sister laid out on her bed, flat on her back, with a hairy beastie between her legs. Fancy that me and Marcel had never seen a hairy beastie before between his sister's legs. We watched. We listened. There was someone in Marcel's sister's bedroom with Marcel's sister. It wasn't the butcher. It was his apprentice. Fancy that Marcel's sister was saying to the butcher's apprentice, flat on her back, "Come this way, my pet." I really didn't like when Marcel's sister said to the butcher's apprentice, "Come this way, my pet." But the butcher's apprentice did all the same, "Come this way, my pet," to stroke Marcel's sister's hairy beastie. He did come, but first, he took off his hat and his boots. He took off his braces, his flannel belt, his trousers, and his underpants, my pet. The butcher's apprentice took off everything behind the lock, but he kept on his watch and his socks. Then he jumped on the bed with his watch and his socks, and he stroked Marcel's sister's hairy beastie. And Marcel's sister stroked the butcher's apprentice's willy, 3 sizes bigger than the senior schoolboys. They both stroked each other and said nice things to each other. "Good little beastie, and come this way, my pet." All of a sudden, the butcher's apprentice got angry, and he jumped between Marcel's sister's legs and beat the hairy beastie with his willy. Marcel's sister was shouting, and the butcher's apprentice was shouting too. Me and Marcel could hear the shouting, but we couldn't see anything anymore. We could only see the butcher's apprentice's huge bum rise and fall and never stop behind the lock. "Come this way, my pet." I really didn't like when Marcel's sister said to the butcher's apprentice, "Come this way, my pet." She often said to me, "Come this way, my pet." We're down in the kitchen drinking lemonade. We were sitting quietly when all of a sudden Who should come into the kitchen only Marcel's sister and say, "Come this way, my pet, for a sweet or a chocolate cigarette." I really didn't like it at all. I always wanted to tell her, "You take your hairy beastie away from me and don't call me my pet. I don't like it at all." I always wanted to tell her, but I never could. For suppose I had mentioned the hairy beastie in the kitchen, she would have known that me and Marcel had seen it in the bedroom. And we're not allowed. I always wanted to tell her. I was always afraid of her taking me off into her bedroom for a glass of lemonade. We were sitting quietly when all of a sudden, who should come into the kitchen only Marcel's sister and say, "Leave your lemonade, my pet, and come this way. I've got some nice colored postcards to show you." Me and Marcel were really happy. We really liked nice colored postcards, so we climbed the stairs straight away with the glass and the bottle. But all of a sudden, Marcel's sister turns around and says to Marcel, "No need. You've already seen them. Go back down and drink your lemonade." But then she says to me, "But you, my pet, have never seen them." Then she takes me off by the throat into her bedroom and locks the bedroom door. I really don't like the bedroom doors being locked when I'm being shown nice colored postcards. So I hid myself in the corner. Marcel's sister doesn't show me anything at all. She only lay down on her bed, flat on her back, and says, "Come this way, my pet." I ask her, "Well, where are your nice colored postcards then?" But Marcel's sister doesn't answer. She only says, "Come this way, my pet. I've got something much nicer than colored postcards." Well, I didn't know anything nicer than colored postcards. But Marcel's sister shows me her hairy beastie instead and says, "Come this way, my pet. I'm sure you'll like this much nicer than colored postcards." I ask her again, gulping, "Well, where are your nice colored postcards then?" But all of a sudden, Marcel's sister gets angry on her bed and she says, "Is there nothing else to like than postcards, Wally?" She wants me to say, "No, there's your hairy beastie as well." I say, there's lemonade as well." Marcel really liked drinking lemonade. We get it at the grocer's in exchange for empty liter bottles of Stars, because the grocer won't accept empty liter bottles without Stars. If you want 1 full liter bottle, you need 3 empty liter bottles with Stars. And if you want 2 full liter bottles, you need 6 empty liter bottles with Stars. And if you want 3 full liter bottles, you need 9 empty liter bottles with Stars. And if you happen to be really thirsty and you want but all of a sudden Marcel's sister gets even angrier on her bed and she says, "Are you trying to tell me you've got nothing between your legs, Wally?" I say to myself, "That's it. She knows I've got a willy. Now she'll want to stroke it." I'm trembling. I'm very frightened in my corner with my willy 6 sizes smaller than the butcher's apprentice. But all of a sudden, I notice a suitcase under her bed. And I say, "Wait! Perhaps your colored postcards could have fallen under your bed at some time." Then I dive under the bed into the suitcase, but the hairy beastie dives too. And I say, "Go away, you dirty beastie. There's no colored postcards here." And then I give it a good kick, and then I lock it in the suitcase. Then I go back down and drink my lemonade with Marcel in the kitchen. 3 sizes bigger than the senior school boys. We had never seen a Willie 3 sizes bigger than the senior school boys. But me and Marcel had seen Willies 1 size bigger than the senior school boys when we went to stroke them with our hands in the toilets. Because of the teacher who would have never allowed us to stroke the big boys' Willies in the playground, we really liked stroking the big boys' Willies, and they really liked it too. They gave us sweets and sometimes even cigarettes. But that was when they were even happier, when we stroked the big boys' Willies with our tongues. They were very happy. They gave us cigarettes. But we could never smoke them in the toilet because of the smoke that would have drifted out through the hole of the lock of the toilet door, and because of the teacher who would have seen the smoke drift out. He came running across the playground. He blew his whistle. He flung open the toilet door. He found me and Marcel smoking in the toilets. He blew his top in the toilets.
Smoking is not allowed. Why are you smoking?
Me and Marcel said to him, "We're smoking because the big boys gave us smoking cigarettes to smoke." But the teacher blew his top even more in the toilets.
And may I ask why the big boys gave you smoking cigarettes?
Well, the big boys gave us smoking cigarettes because they were very happy. The teacher wasn't happy.
And may I ask why the big boys were very happy?
Well, the big boys were very happy because we stroked their willies with our tongues. They were very happy. They gave us smoking cigarettes to smoke. So, we're smoking them. So there. But the teacher blew his top even more in the toilets. He shouted, he roared, he turned all red in the toilets. Me and Marcel said to him, "You mustn't blow your top in the toilets." We said to him, "We didn't know we weren't allowed to smoke in the toilets. Next time we won't smoke in the toilets." We said to him, "Next time we won't stroke the big boys' willies with our tongues, only with our hands. Then they'll only give us sweets. We're not allowed to smoke, but we are allowed to eat sweets. Next time we'll eat sweets." When me and Marcel went to school for the first time with the satchel, we were playing happily in the sand in the playground, and we were filling the satchel with shells. It was nearly full by then, but all of a sudden there's a teacher blowing his whistle on the steps.
Boys, get yourselves in the rows of 2 and keep in line.
Me and Marcel got ourselves into a row of 2, the pair of us, but we were still playing around a bit in line. But the teacher wasn't playing around on the steps.
Boys, we've not come here to play around. From now on, there will be no more playing around in line if you want to grow up to be a man and to serve your country. But first, does everyone want to grow up to be a man?
Everyone in unison says, "Yes!"
But first, does everyone want to grow up to serve his country?
Everyone in unison again says, "Yes!" Except me and Marcel. We said yes, but all the time we were thinking no. Because our country, we didn't know what our country was, but the teacher shows us a picture of a lady on the wall with a stick. That's our country. But Marcel says, "Do you think she's got a hairy beastie too?" But the teacher sees us talking.
Obviously, those 2 just can't stop talking. First of all, give me that satchel.
What's in the satchel? Well, look. Shells. You're not allowed to fill your satchel with your country shells. Why have you filled your satchel nearly full with your country shells? Me and Marcel said to him, we didn't know we thought our country shells belonged to everyone, and to us as well. That's why we filled our satchel with our country, But the teacher sees us talking again. Obviously, those two just can't stop talking. If you carry on like this, I'll be forced to separate you. Well, we didn't talk anymore in our line. Not because we didn't want to talk, but because we didn't want the teacher to separate us. We didn't talk anymore in class either, because the teacher said, from now on, boys, there will be no more talking in class if you want to grow up to be men and to serve our country. Nobody talked in class anymore. Everyone sat down in line. The teacher in line too, but higher up behind his desk. Fold your arms, boys, and be quiet. Once more, a bit quiet, boys. Now, I'm going to ask you a very easy question, boys. Think about it, then answer. But careful, not all at once. Not all at once. The teacher showed us how, not all at once. Elbows on the table, hands in the air, heels together, but careful. No clicking of heels, fingers, or teeth. You must wait your turn. Now, boys, I'm going to ask you the question. I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey! Here's the question. What have you come here to do? Answer. What have you come here to do, boys? Fancy that no one answered. No one knew what we had come here to do, but the teacher said, boys, I'm going to make it very easy. I'll give you a hint. You've come here to do 3 things. First of all, here to come along and sir. A voice in the class. Someone says, to sleep. To sleep. No. Not out of 10, 100 lines, I'm marking. No, you have not come here to sleep. You've come here to, come along, boys, liven up. Here to, I'm listening. A voice in the class. Someone says, to eat. To eat. Fancy that. Why not to drink while we're at it? No. You have not come here to drink, eat, or sleep. Not out of 10, 200 lines, I'm marking. Now, you have not come here to eat. You've come here to, come along, boys, here to, thirdly. A voice in the class. Someone says, to drink. To drink. For God's sakes, I knew it, to drink. Just you wait, you young whelps. No, you have not come here to drink, you young drunks. Not out of 10, 100 lines, 3 verbs to conjugate, I'm marking. You have not come here to drink, you've come here to once. Here to twice. Here to 3 times. You answer immediately or I'll wallop you. Answer. Answer. No one answered. No one knew what we had come here to do, or why, or how, except a boy repeating our class in the corner. No one was listening to him except the teacher. Here, first of all, learn to read. Well done, boy. 1 gold star. And to write. Well done, boy. 2 gold stars. There's hope for you. And to count. Well done, boy. 3 gold stars. Keep your heels together. And to sing. To sing! No, you have not come here to learn to sing. Useless, absolutely useless. 2 noughts out of 10, 300 lines, 4 verbs to conjugate. I'm marking, and I take back the 3 gold stars. Let's go on. The teacher went on. Boys. I'm going to have to tell you something you're probably not going to be too happy about, and might even upset you, I hope. But I have to tell you, boys, that never in my whole career have I seen boys as ignorant as you. Well, anyway, I understand fine well you can't know everything in one go. We all know the world we live in, so vast, so beautiful, wasn't built in a day. But there's a difference between that and not knowing where you're going, when you're going, and why you're going. And that's going a bit too far, boys. I think you go a bit too far. Well, anyway, let's be reasonable about this. There are 2 things to choose from. Either you know where you're going, when you're going, and why you're going, and if you do, great. But if you don't, I don't see why you go there in the first place, and why you don't just stay at home and wank. I mean, to comb giraffes. A voice in the class. Someone says, "We don't have any giraffes at home, only at the zoo." Another voice in the class. Someone says, "We don't have any giraffes at home either. And even if we did, we wouldn't be able to comb it because of the ladder. You'd need a whopping great ladder to comb a giraffe." The teacher's talking on his own behind his desk. Boys, when I say to comb a giraffe, I don't really mean to comb a giraffe. It's only a manner of speaking. As if I were to say to piss on a duck, I mean to wee-wee on a duck's back. A voice in the class. Someone says, "You can't wee-wee on a duck's back, you're not allowed. You wee-wee in toilets." Another voice in the class says, "And even poo-poo if you want." Myself says, "I can poo on a duck's back, but it's not very easy because of the feathers. They tickle." And besides, the ducks would only swim away. And also, ducks are for eating. The teacher's getting very angry behind his desk. Leave ducks out of this. There, he's talking on his own behind his desk. We're not here to talk about ducks. Positively never in my whole career. Listen to me! Carefully, you bunch of ignoramuses. I'll give you an example. The example. Here's your example, you bunch of ignoramuses. Let's take, for example, the example of the butcher. But first, does everyone know what a butcher is? Everyone in unison. He's a man. Good. But what else? He works in a butcher shop. Good. But what else? Everyone in unison. He has an apprentice. And what do we call his apprentice? Everyone in unison. The butcher's apprentice. Very good. Well done. But what else? He has a wife. A wife. And what do we call his wife? Everyone in unison, the butcher's wife. Well done. Excellent. But what else? What else? What do we call the butcher's wife again? Everyone in unison. We don't know. Except Marcel, who said, "The woman butcher." Well done, boy. 1 gold star. That's fine. We can begin again. I'll go back to the beginning. Let's suppose now, boys, that the butcher one morning when he gets up, doesn't know where he's going, when he's going, or why he's going, so that he doesn't go into his yard to kill the cows, the cattle, the sheep in the morning in his yard. But was mistaken that instead of killing them, he starts, let's suppose, to stroke them. Well, boys, I'm asking you the question. Do you think that we could still eat meat to grow up to be men and to serve our country if the butcher didn't kill anyone anymore, but was mistaken that he didn't know where he was going or why he was going, when he was going? Come along and sir. Everyone in unison says no, except the voice which says yes. Why yes? Because we could still eat meat. Then how could we still eat meat, you stupid boy, if the butcher didn't kill anyone anymore? Because if the butcher doesn't kill anyone anymore, we can still eat the pork butcher's meat, because the pork butcher still goes into his yard to kill the pigs with his cleaver and his knives. The teacher bangs his fist on his desk. Positively never in my whole career mind that blockhead there. The example's no good. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's suppose now, boys, to take a better example, that the butcher not only gives up, so to speak, killing the cows, the cattle, the sheep in the morning in his yard, but one fair morning, the pork butcher does the same. And he too gives up, so to speak, killing the pigs in the morning in his yard. But he too begins, let's suppose, to stroke them forever and ever. And let's go even further. Let's suppose now, boys, that all the butchers and all the pork butchers in the world do the same thing. They all give up, so to speak, killing the cows, the cattle, the sheep, and the pigs in the morning in their yard. Well, boys, I'm asking you the question. Do you think that we could still eat meat to grow up to be men and to serve our country if all the butchers and all the pork butchers in the world never killed anyone anymore? Come along and sir. Everyone in unison says no, except the voice which again says yes. Why, yes, because we could still what, stupid boy, still eat meat. And how could we still eat meat, you stupid boy, if all the butchers and all the pork butchers in the world never killed anyone anymore? Because all the grocers in the world who sell meat in tins. We can go to the grocers and open those tins with tin openers. My father has one. My mother gave it to him for his birthday. It's got a corkscrew at the other end. The teacher's crying on his own behind his desk. Positively never in my whole career. Marcel doesn't know what my career means either. Teacher, sir, what does my career mean? The teacher bangs his head on his desk. For pity's sake, will someone please tell this stupid boy immediately what my career means? My career is like my uncle's in Alsace. He has pigeons called careers. But Marcel says, no. All pigeons are not called careers, and not all careers are called pigeons. There's paper careers and plastic careers, and I've never seen them fly, so you're a liar. Besides, a career that can fly is called a career pigeon. I'm sure that Teacher Sir's career is not a career pigeon. Isn't that right, Teacher Sir? Your career pigeon does not serve our country. The teacher knocks his desk over under these circumstances.
I resign.
Mr. Inspector, would you be so kind as to herewith accept my resignation from the Pigeon Fanciers Association, given the success of the racing season and the wind conditions of the pigeons, which allow us to stick one up Alsace and start a carrier with your uncle. And don't forget to take your wings, Mr. President. I give you all my thanks, and may my best wishes go with you. At any rate, I hope... God! One day, when me and Marcel were talking in the street, what did we see on the pavement? 2 dogs all stuck together.
Oh.
We tried to unstick them by pulling at either end. No good. Dogs aren't like flies. Flies you can always unstick when they won't fly away, but not dogs. And anyway, dogs can't fly away. No good. Dances, me and Marcel lay down on the ground to see from underneath why we couldn't unstick them. But there's his grandmother yelling from up above. Clear off from here, you rascals, you rogues. We didn't know whether it was at us or at the dogs. We ran for our lives. But there's the grandmother running down the stairs with her broom. Clear off from here, you dirty dogs. Take your dirty business elsewhere. If my husband sees you, ow! The dogs don't come unstuck. The grandmother's yelling. She's beating the dogs. The dogs are yelling too. They don't come unstuck. They just move up the pavement a little. The postman arrives with his postman's cap. He sees the dogs. He tries to unstick them with his cap. He beats them with his cap. It's a disgrace. The dogs don't come unstuck. They just move up the pavement a little. The butcher arrives. With the butcher's wife behind them. Go back straight away and get behind your counter. This is no sight for a lady. He takes some scraps from behind his counter. Nice doggy. Nice doggy. He tries to unstick them by giving them the scraps. The dogs eat the scraps. Ooh! But they don't come unstuck. They just move up the pavement a little. The teacher arrives on his bike. He doesn't try to unstick him with his bike. He leans it against the wall. He yells at the butcher.
Go and get a sheet immediately. Can't you see you're upsetting the children? Children, what you see here is nothing extraordinary. You read about it in books. You'll learn about it at the end of your studies with the senior school boys. The dogs don't come unstuck. They just move up the pavement a little. The priest arrives with his cassock. He sees the dogs. He doesn't try to unstick them. He stands between us and the dogs. The teacher says to him, "Well, Father?" The priest says to him, "Well, my son, that's nature, Father. That's nature, my son. That's nature, children. The dogs move up the pavement." The village policeman arrives. He doesn't try to unstick the dogs. He blows his whistle. Come on, move along. The dogs don't move along. The people don't move along either. He
takes out his notebook. Come on, move along or I'll book you. Nobody wants to move along. Village policeman gets angry. Come on, move along or I'll book you. Somebody find the owners. The owners come running. Come here, Rover. The dogs don't come unstuck. The owners argue. Your dog always leads mine on. I'm sorry, but it's your dog that always leads mine on. I'm sorry, but my Rover is a well-behaved dog. Are you saying that my Rover is badly behaved? Oh, that thought never crossed my mind, my dear friend. I'm only saying that my Rover is better behaved than your Rover, you bastard. Better behaved than my Rover, your mongrel. Do you hear that, Rover? Do you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? The owners fight. And the village policeman stands between them with his notebook. Gentlemen, this has got nothing to do with it. First of all, find some way of unsticking your dogs. The law forbids it on public highways, or I'll book you. Come on, let's find a vet. The vet arrives on his vet's bike with his vet's case. He gets off his bike. He goes up to the dogs. He looks at them. He thinks about it. He gets down on the ground. He inspects from underneath with his glasses. He feels underneath with his hand. No problem.
Somebody get me a bowl of water.
He gets up. He puts his glasses back on his head. He rolls up his sleeves and he talks to the owners.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. When you don't want your dogs to go out, keep them at home.
The bull arrives.
Set it down there on the ground. Okay now, chaps. It's us three now.
But then Marcel's father arrives too. He tells us it's time to go and do our homework. It was always time to go and do our homework when the vet arrived. We never knew how the dogs got unstuck. We only knew that they got unstuck because we saw them on other days and they weren't stuck together anymore. Or they were with other dogs. It was never the same two dogs on the pavement. Huh. In Sunday school, me and Marcel would sit and listen to the priest tell us the story of the good Lord in the heaven and paradise.
Oh, God.
I didn't know what paradise was. I asked the priest, Father, what's paradise? Paradise, my child, isn't an easy thing to explain to children. It's a place where you go when you're old, if you've been really good. You go up to the heavens with the angels singing and flying about, and the good Lord at the very top blessing them and praying. I think, well, Father, does he fly too? No, my child, that's blasphemy. He holds on by himself. I think. Does he? Does he hang on to the ceiling? No, my child, that's blasphemy. There is no ceiling in heaven. He holds on by himself by divine grace, with the baby Jesus in his arms and his wife, who's called Mary. That's why we call her the Virgin Mary. I can understand why we call the good Lord's wife Mary, seeing as she was called Mary. But I couldn't understand why we called her the Virgin Mary. I asked the priest, Father, why do we call the good Lord's wife the Virgin Mary? Because if we call her the Virgin Mary, why don't we call the butcher's wife the Virgin Mary? She's called Mary. That's got nothing to do with it, my child. Why, Father, has it got nothing to do with it? Because, my child, for a start, the good Lord's wife is in the heaven with the good Lord, and the butcher's wife is, well, in the butcher's with a husband. It's got nothing to do with it. But suppose one day, Father, that the butcher's wife goes up into heaven. Then will we call her the Virgin Mary or just plain Mary? Well, that's got nothing to do with it, my child, for a start. It's not quite certain that the butcher's wife will go to heaven. And second, if she does go, it won't be her who goes. It'll be her soul. Her soul. I didn't know what a soul was. I asked the priest, Father, what's a soul? Well, the soul, my child, isn't an easy thing to explain to children. It's something which exists, which you can't see, which goes to heaven when you're old, if you've been really good. I think something which exists, which goes to heaven when you're old, if you've been real good. Is it a riddle, Father? No, child, it's a soul. I didn't know what a soul was. I didn't know if everyone had a soul. I asked the priest, Father, does everyone have a soul? Of course, my child, everyone has a soul. Why would everyone not have a soul, my child? Does the butcher have a soul, Father? Of course, my child, the butcher has a soul. Why would the butcher not have a soul, my child? Does the village policeman have a soul, Father? He doesn't think. Of course, my child, the village policeman has a soul. Why would the village policeman not have a soul, my child? Fancy that. Village policeman has a soul. I could see in my head the village policeman going up dead into heaven with his notebook, his pencil, and his wings. And I could see in my head the butcher going up into heaven too, with his cleavers, his knives, and his wings. And the butcher's shop going up into heaven too. And behind the counter, the butcher's apprentice with his wings and his willy. Everyone going up dead into heaven. And the butcher's shop takes off. And the butcher's saying his goodbyes at the door with his cleavers and his knives. And the butcher's wife is saying her goodbyes too, with one hand counting her money behind the counter. Butcher's shop takes off. And the butcher's wife says to the butcher, Ready? On your mark, flap your wings to the right, Sid. And to the people in the street, Goodbye, my friends. We'll send you a postcard. The butcher shop goes up forever. And it lands in heaven. And all you can see is a speck in the sky with tinted glasses. And the people in the street are saying, Fancy that. They're looking at the sky. They're looking at the ground. They're looking at the hole next to the ground. They're looking everywhere. Fancy that. Now where are we gonna get our meat? I was happy. Because if everyone has a soul, then the butcher's guinea pigs have a soul too. I really like the butcher's guinea pigs. When me and Marcel went to stoke them in their hutch at the butcher's, I asked the priest, Father, do the butcher's guinea pigs have a soul? That's blasphemy, my child. Of course the butcher's guinea pigs don't have a soul. Well, why, Father, do the butcher's guinea pigs not have a soul? The priest doesn't answer. He only says because. Because, my child, if the butcher's guinea pigs don't have a soul, then it's obvious that the Lord, in his infinite mercy, didn't find it necessary to grant them one. I didn't know what mercy meant. I pretended. Father, why did the Lord not think it necessary to grant them one? In his mercy. Because, my child, if the Lord didn't grant the butcher's guinea pigs a soul, then it's patently obvious that they aren't worth one. Why, Father, aren't they worth one? I'm only a poor sinner. I can't know everything. But, Father, if the butcher's guinea pigs don't have a soul, then no one has a soul. That's got nothing to do with it, my child. Why, Father, has it got nothing to do with it? Because the butcher's guinea pigs aren't everyone. Everyone is only people. And the butcher's guinea pigs don't belong to people. Then who do they belong to if they don't belong to people? They belong to animals. Then who do the animals belong to? They belong to creation like people and things. I didn't understand anything anymore. I didn't know what creation was either. I asked the priest, Father, what's creation? Creation, my child, is when the Lord created everything. The heaven, earth, people, things. He created everything in 7 days, or rather 6. In the beginning it was very dark, but the Lord turned on the light, and he worked day and night to create everything in those 6 days. The 7th day, Sunday, was the day of rest, the day to go to church, and the day to pray. I said to myself, all that in 6 days? I think that's a bit much. I wanted to tell the priest, Father, I think that's a bit much. I wanted to tell him, Father, I think the good Lord was too quick. He didn't have time to grant the butcher's guinea pigs his soul. And I was really sad. I wanted to cry the next time I went to pet the butcher's guinea pigs in their hutch. I thought to myself, the Lord was too quick. He didn't have time to grant you a soul. When they're dead, they'll be dead forever. We'll never get to heaven. We'll never get to paradise. And I said to myself, I wondered if it might be better just to stay with them in the butcher's forever. And to go up without them one day to the heaven of the priest of the good Lord. Marcel really loved going cork racing. It's raining. We go up to the top of the hill with our corks. We throw them in the water in the gutter, and we run alongside to see who wins. The first cork to arrive wins. I never really understood why it was always the first cork to arrive that wins. Mine always came second. But Marcel says it's like the races at Brands Hatch. It's always the first car past the flag that wins. I've never seen the second past the flag come first. But that day we were going to the top of the hill. And who did we see going to the top of the hill? Only the village policeman's daughter and Marcel's sister's sister. They were going up too. They wanted to race corks. I really like Marcel's sister's sister. I lend her a cork. But Marcel lends a cork to the village policeman's daughter. And we reach the top of the hill. We throw our corks in the water, and we run alongside to cheer them on to win. But not all corks can win. Some corks don't even budge. They get stuck between the paving. When a cork gets stuck between the paving, you're not allowed to unstick it. You gotta let it unstick itself on its own. But that day, Marcel had cheated. He had used his foot to unstick the village policeman's daughter's cork when it wasn't stuck. He thought I hadn't seen him, but I had seen him. I cheated too. I used my foot to unstick his sister's cork when it wasn't stuck either. But Marcel had seen me, so he used his foot to unstick the village policeman's daughter's cork when it wasn't stuck at all. So I used my foot to unstick his sister's cork when it wasn't stuck too. Me and Marcel unstuck the corks all the way to the bottom of the hill. Yeah, his sister's cork had won. It was first. And the village policeman's daughter's cork was second. It had lost. But Marcel said, no, the village policeman's daughter's cork was second, so it's first. I said, no. I had won when I was second because I wasn't first. That day, his sister's cork was first, so it won. The village policeman's daughter's cork only came second and it had lost. But Marcel said, no, village policeman's daughter's cork was second, so it's first. He said, no, your sister's cork was first, so it's first. We argued at the bottom of the hill. I told him, just you wait. I'm gonna go fetch the law. And he said, just you wait. I'm gonna go fetch the police, and they're much stronger than the law. We fought at the bottom of the hill, just like at the Boxing Day ball. When the butcher's apprentice fought with the pork butcher's apprentice, not because of the village policeman's daughter's cork, but because of Marcel's sister's hairy beastie. The pork butcher's apprentice wanted to keep the hairy beastie all to himself, but the butcher's apprentice wanted to stroke the hairy beastie too. And they were fighting, they were rolling around on the ground, and they were punching each other. I'll punch your face in, you bastard. I'll knock your brains out, you bugger. And they were fighting with all the people standing around cheering them on to win. Shout, blood, blood, blood. Blood. And the butcher's apprentice and the pork butcher's apprentice are bleeding. They're bleeding. But the village policeman comes running and he says, come on, gentlemen, you don't really want to fight, do you? But the butcher's apprentice and the pork butcher's apprentice do want to fight. And the teacher comes running along. He says, come on, gentlemen, you don't really want to fight on Boxing Day. And the butcher's apprentice and the pork butcher's apprentice don't want to fight on Boxing Day. So the village policeman takes the butcher's apprentice off into the corner and tells him off. And the teacher takes the pork butcher's apprentice off into the corner and tells him off. And we wait a while. Finally, the village policeman comes out of the corner with the butcher's apprentice. And the teacher comes out of the corner with the pork butcher's apprentice. And the teacher says, come on, gentlemen, shake hands. The butcher's apprentice and the pork butcher's apprentice shake hands. Crying. And the village policeman says, come on, gentlemen, embrace each other. And the butcher's apprentice and the pork butcher's apprentice embrace each other. Crying. And the teacher and the village policeman are crying too. But they don't embrace each other. And the teacher says, "Come on, gentlemen, let's go and celebrate Boxing Day." The village policeman says, "Come on, gentlemen, let's go for a wee drink." Everyone goes to celebrate Boxing Day. Everyone goes for a wee drink. One rainy day, I went to fetch Marcel to go court racing. But his father says to me, "Marcel is very sick, son. You won't be coming to play today." And I look into his bedroom, and I see Marcel laid out on his bed with white flowers all around. I asked if he'll be able to come and play tomorrow. But his father says to me, "Marcel is very sick, son. You can only kiss him. You can say goodbye to him if you like." I kissed Marcel and said goodbye to him. But I didn't understand why he was sleeping with his shoes on in bed. His grandmother wasn't beating him. She used to always beat us when we slept with our shoes on in bed. "You rascals, you rogues, I'll teach you not to sleep with your shoes on in bed." But she wasn't beating him. She was praying. Everyone was praying. But then someone comes into the room. He's a man, all in black, with a black cap. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We're here about the box. The man all in black is the boss of the men all in black. There are other men all in black on the stairs with black caps. He yells to them, "Kindly bring in the box, gentlemen. Don't forget your nails, Sid." Ladies and gentlemen, every man is his own master. And every man comes to settle with his soul and his conscience. But for the young minds and for the ladies, this is an altogether more delicate affair. And that's why we leave the decisions to the members of the family represented by the heads here present. Put the box on the floor for the moment, gentlemen. And Marcel's father says to me, "You see, these men have work to do. You can come back tomorrow if you like." I came back the next day in my Sunday best. I didn't understand why I had to wear my Sunday best, seeing as it was only Friday. But my mother says it's because we're going to the funeral. Now, I understood what a funeral meant, but I didn't know who had died. And my mother says it's Marcel who's died, son. cabs come with the coach all in black and the horses all in black. That's us, Sid. And they lift the box by the head and by the feet. But Marcel's sister doesn't want to let go of the box. She cries, she screams, she fights with the caps. The caps are much stronger, and they lift the box up. That's you, Sid. Lift your end. Let it swing out left. But Marcel's sister still doesn't want to let go of the box, so the boss tells her off. Now, my dear, you mustn't let yourself get worked up. You've got your whole life ahead of you. That's you, Sid. Lift your end. Let it go out right. Good. Forward. Marcel's sister still does not want to let go of the box. Her father tells her off, too. That's some way to behave. Do like we do. Can't you see these men have other things to think about? Isn't that right, gentlemen? You've got other things to think about. You'll have a wee drink. That's right, we will indeed. We won't say no. But the job comes first. We'll take the box down first. That'll speed us up. Caps take the box down the stairs, one on each end, with the boss at the bottom of the stairs waving his arm over and over again, furiously saying, "Watch out! Watch out!" Watch you don't knock it against the wall. Watch you don't knock it against the stairs. Watch you don't miss your step. Wouldn't that be a fine mess? Come on, speed it up a bit, Sid. You'll make us late. Damn! Marcel is dead. And the cab slide the box into the coach with the white flowers all around. And the boss tells all the members to fall in line behind the family. But first, where's the family? The family, all in black, lines up behind the box. The box sets off. The box enters the church. Everyone enters the church. Everyone sits down. The priest enters. Everyone stands up. He says, "Be seated, brethren." He raises his arms to the sky. He sings a song. He drinks from a big glass. He says, "You mustn't cry, brethren, for if you cry, you believe that Marcel is dead. But rejoice, brethren, for I'm here to tell you the good news. Marcel isn't dead. He's in the life eternal." I rejoice too, because Marcel isn't dead. The priest said so in his church. But the funeral carries on all the same. I asked my mother out loud, "What's the life eternal?" She says softly, "How about his peace?" arrives at the cemetery, with all the members following. It stops at the edge of the hole. All the members stop at the edge of the hole. The caps lower the box into the bottom of the hole. The priest stops at the edge of the hole. He sprinkles water on the box with a sprinkler. Everybody sprinkles water on the box with a sprinkler. Except for Marcel's grandfather, who says, "Father, I'd like to sprinkle a little water too. But I can't. I'm a free thinker." And I came back the next day to help Marcel get out of the hole. But there wasn't a hole anymore. There was just fresh earth and white flowers all around. So I ran to his father's house. But his father says to me, "Where are you going, son?" I say, "I'm going to see Marcel." But you know Marcel is not there anymore. He's dead and gone. I say, "No! Marcel is alive. The priest said so in his church." They are only words, my child. So I run to the priest. "Father! Marcel's father says that Marcel is dead. Is Marcel dead, Father?" What can I say, my child? They are only words. I cried. And I asked the priest if I'll be able to see Marcel soon. If we'll soon be able to go cork racing. But he only looks at his watch and raises his arms to the sky. "Hurry up, my child, and it'll soon be time for Mass and time for you to go to your first communion and go one day to the life eternal." Saw Marcel again. Only in my head at night, when he told me to go and wait for him in his bedroom. lay down on the bed with the white flowers all around. But there are the caps. They're coming with my box. They want to put me in the box, and I cry. I hold onto the bed with all my strength, but the boss tells me off. They lift me by my head and by my feet. Everyone tells me off. Everyone tells me to be a good boy. And the butcher says in the boss's ear, why don't I take him down to my shop with my knives? And the grandmother makes a yes, I know their bonnet. She wants to put a bonnet on my head. That way you won't catch cold. But Marcel's sister wants to put her hairy beastie on me. That'll keep him even warmer. But the boss says, let's try the gentle approach. Don't you want to go and see Marcel again, son? I say yes. But Marcel's father says no.
Marcel is dead and gone.
But the priest says, no! Marcel is in the life, eternal! Marcel's father and the priest don't agree. They argue in the bedroom. But the boss says, let's go and find Marcel, son. Then I go and lay down straight away in my box. Everyone applauds. Sid nails down the lid with his hammer and his nails. I can't see anything anymore. I can only see a little through the hole of the keyhole of the box. I'm happy. Because I'm going to go see Marcel again soon. And the boss tells all the members to fall in line behind the family.
But first, where's the family?
There is no family. There's only 6 dogs coming all stuck together. Where's the family? And the butcher says, why don't I take them down to my shop with my knives? I'll go see if I have some scraps. And he comes back with his guinea pigs and his knives. And he says, I didn't have any more scraps. That's okay. I'll make some at the church. And all the members fall in line. The butcher's apprentice, with his willy 3 sizes bigger than the senior schoolboys, who joined the members with the janitor, the candy, and the sweets. the village policeman with his notebook and his pencil, the teacher with his bike and his ducks. All the members fall in line. The butcher's apprentice says to the pork butcher's apprentice to fall in line at the front, and to Marcel's sister to fall in line with the pork butcher's apprentice. But the pork butcher's apprentice says to the butcher's apprentice, "That's okay, you were here before me." But the butcher's apprentice says, "No, I'll fall in from the rear. The funeral can begin." The coach sets off. It arrives at the church, and the priest says, "Let there be no mistake, brethren. I have a willie too." Then he lifts his cassock and he shows everyone his willie. Then he dips his willie in the holy water. And then he sprinkles the water on the members with his willie. Rejoice, brethren. All the members rejoice. The butcher's apprentice and the pork butcher's apprentice rejoice by stroking the hairy beastie of Marcel's sister, who rejoices by stroking with her hands the butcher's apprentice and the pork butcher's apprentice's willies. The janitor rejoices by stroking with her tongue the willies of the senior schoolboys who give her smoking cigarettes. The village policeman rejoices with his notebook and his pencil. The butcher with his guinea pigs and his knives. The butcher's wife with her money behind her counter. The grandmother with her bonnet and her broom. The teacher with his bike and his duck. The priest with his sprinkler and his willie. Every single member rejoices. I rejoice too, all alone in my box, because I'm going to see Marcel again. The coach sets off. It arrives at the cemetery. It stops at the edge of the hole. Everyone stops at the edge of the hole. The cats lower my box into the bottom of the hole. But Marcel isn't at the bottom of the hole. I'm all alone at the bottom of the hole. With every single member above, leaning over, looking down into the bottom of the hole. I want out. I want to go home. I asked the members to help me, but they're laughing at the edge of the hole. And they say, "Come on, brethren, let's go and rejoice somewhere else." I asked my mother to help me, but she says, "Be a good boy, son. You're not allowed to speak when you're dead." I asked the priest to help me. I speak louder. I shout from the bottom of the hole. I say, "Father, my mother says that I am dead. Am I dead, Father?" But the priest doesn't answer. He only shakes a little water on my box with his willie. I speak louder. "Father, I'd like to know if I'm in the life eternal." He shakes a little water. "What can I say, my child? They're only words." I speak louder. I ask if I'll get out one day, if I'll be able to go home one day. "What can I say, my child? They're only words." With a little water. I speak louder. I shout from the bottom of the hole. I ask why Marcel isn't at the bottom of the hole. If Marcel is at the bottom of another hole, it will soon be able to go core crazy. But the priest doesn't answer. He only shakes a little water on the box. And then he goes away with the rest of the members. I can't see anything anymore. I can't see anyone anymore. Because Sid is throwing soil on the top of my box. I can only hear the members in the distance, withdrawing and laughing. What can I say, my child? They're only words. What can I say, my child? They are only words. My child, they are only words. My child, they are only words. They are only words.
Real heavy.
Gotta use it one more day.
Right.
Come into the light. Come into the light.
Huh?
Come into the light.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta look big.
I gotta come into the light a little bit more.
Dad, you're ruining a very good playback with this junk afterwards. Fade.
Fade. All right.
Yes.
All right. Fade.
He used to hunt Matt all the time after every show with his regular camera.
It's the outfit.
So Matt goes, he's got a video camera now?
Come on, Matt.
Alright, let me go get all my stuff then.
Are you going back to the bucket? What's going on? I just want to know if we can go do like.
Well, where is it at?
It's down on Van Dam between Houston and I don't know. We can bring it down.
You want to go to a wedding reception?
Oh, Lord.
We never see you that often. Don't be saying, "Oh Lord."
No, I don't know what they want to
You
do.
want to just go for...
I know, I have like shorts on and everything.
Would you want to go for a drink with us
Of
before we
course,
go?
I never get to see your family. Of course I
I
don't.
think we'll get my stuff together.
Take care,
You want to come
Tyrone.
out for a drink with us?
I'm supposed to be meeting someone, but thank you for the invitation.
Okay, cool. Thank
Sing
you for
Debbie, sing.
coming.
Hey, I'm glad I came.
I know, right?
Yes,
It's like-
the very end.
Now I know what Tyrone does at night.
Okay. What? Me? What'd you say?
Oh.
These people are really nice though. In fact, when we've been playing like phone tag with the guy who runs it for a week, trying to get, a date where we could actually come and sign the contract. And I finally came down one day, and the new one's coming too, and I walked in and go, "You look so familiar." I go, "Did you go to Hope?" He goes, "No." American Academy. I go, "Yeah. Oh my God." We went to the
You're kidding. See,
this guy in mind.
Well, I like the space. The only thing I don't like about it is the seating is just permanent. It's not like
really?
Oh, you can't move it around. I don't like the bathroom either. You go. The bucket was pouring on me.
Yeah. You should see it without the bucket. I just got soaked in the bathroom.
Did you
I couldn't
really?
even like finish going because I'm like, oh, I can't take this water.
It's like a Chinese water toilet.
Oh, no, really?
And it's like big blocks. Like
Oh, God.
It just comes out.
And like I came here one morning or one afternoon and I was like, we gotta get something in the window. You know? I was driving them crazy about this window. And then finally,
and I'm trying to like hang some lights going, okay, Ty, I'll help you in a minute.
and I'm like, Lynn, come look at the window. And all I had in the window was these childish things, the sign. I was like,
Every 5 seconds, Lynn, come out and take a look at the window. I'm like,
and so then I asked them, I said, you know, do you guys have a door down in the basement? And the guy said, you know, we do, go take a look. They were all too heavy. He goes, but you can use anything you want. So I was like, right. So I went and I found everything that looked like the kids, you know.
You're kidding. I like that.
that's Mom knows. She's been seeing enough news shows.
What?
Yeah, you really have to just kind of go.
Oh, I know. I do that. I know. But it's like a attitude.
The drives are crazy.
That's what?
There's another spot up the road.
I'll see. Is Sunday, June 2nd, Route 14, about 24 miles south of Geneva. Just returned from Watching Tyrone's one-man play. Time is 7:40 p.m. I think this is Glenora's Vineyard. Famous wine country.
It's on.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Put your hands in my thing. Put your hands through there, please. Thank you.
There goes my beef, I got to go. She's too hot.